Hiya, my name is Tamar Waffle. Many people know me as Lioness Tamar, or a business owner of Gauge CIC or Kings and Queens United. I'm here writing my blog and I feel prompted to do my first video, so I thought I'll jump on and see how it goes. Um, One of the key things that I've been thinking about is basically my childhood trauma and how it's impacted me, because the more I'm able to explore and face these thoughts, the more I'm able to work through and overcome some of the impact it's had on me. So, one of the key things is that growing up, I've always prided myself on being adaptable. Adaptable in the sense that I'm basically like a chameleon. I can adapt in just about any situation as long as I understand my why, as long as I want to do it. Like, for example, when I was at uni and I was like living with other young people and the house was an extreme mess. As soon as you walk through the door, you would like the smell would just hit you. Like, I couldn't use the kitchen. I could hardly bath in the house. It was just an absolute mess. But I didn't let that distract me from my studies, because that was the main reason why I was at uni. And I kept focus and I pushed forward throughout it. And when the contract ended, I moved out. And I just adapted myself to living there. So stuff like that, where other people, they might find it so depressing, I just basically put my head down and adapt to the situation and keep focused on my end goal. And there's loads of other examples I can give in terms of how I've been so adaptable. But what I didn't realize, whilst I acknowledge adaptability as one of my strengths, I didn't realize it was also part of the impact of what I've been through. You see, I've been sexually abused even before I even knew myself. My very first encounter was around about 5 years old. Um, and yeah, there's been three more experiences since, including being molested by my stepdad from the ages of 8 years old to about 14 years old when I traveled to this country and left the situation. But whilst I was being abused by my stepdad, I was also raped by a family friend and molested as well by one of my cousin. So it's like in exploring the impacts of sexual abuse and trying to go back to what life was like before any abuse, I found it so challenging to figure out who I was, because as far as I'm concerned, I've always been the person I've been, which is the person that's been affected. And adaptability has always been one of the things that I've relied upon to get me through hard times. See, I've had to be adaptable. There was so much going on, so much shame, embarrassment, guilt, blame. And whilst those are going on, I've still had to live in those environments with the abuse still going on. So I can definitely see it the more I'm talking about it, how adaptability has been a survival instinct for me, really. But in my adult world, it's become part of my key strength. And it's like in my adult life, when I'm having to fill out forms to talk about myself and what I like and what I don't like, and just questions about me, I find those questions sometimes can be really challenging. And I usually want to look at somebody else's stuff and just adapt it to me. But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing thing figuring out how such a horrific experience can impact us in so many different ways that we don't even realize. So, for anyone who is watching this video, who has been abused, I know so many of us have been abused. I mean, the figures are in the millions worldwide. So, either we have experienced it or we know somebody else who has. And that goes for both men and women, particularly if you're of the Afro-Caribbean community. So, if you are watching this video and yeah, you or anyone you know has been through anything like this, I would suggest certain key healing strategies, such as finding a safe space to be able to express yourself, to release. Many times, the silence that we've maintained over the years and being in positions where we've unable to do anything about it, it takes away our voice, and without our voice, the healing won't begin. So find a safe space where we can talk about stuff. So this could be professional counselor, particularly healing counselors. I know not everyone have the accessibility to counselors at this moment. So if not, or alongside it, you can find a support group, a women's support group, where there's women there who's been through certain things, and we can get support and support each other along the journey. That really helps with healing. I run a women's group in Croydon where I support women and young girls who's been abused, and it's done so much for me and the woman being in that platform, sharing that platform without judgment, without blame, and being able to relate to each other on so many different levels that we probably couldn't open up to other people or may feel embarrassed or ashamed to. So it's become a key healing space, or should I say safe space, for both me and the ladies. And if you're interested or want to know more, please drop a message below. I'll leave my email address as well, so you can drop me an email. So find a counselor, particularly a trauma counselor, or or join a support group. Or if you can't access any of those, then I would suggest find either a quiet space to yourself, or with a friend or family or a stranger sometimes, but just somewhere we feel where we can let things out without the backlash of any disagreement or blame or anything like that, because that's not going to help us to heal. So that's the first thing I would say. If you've been through any form of abuse, find a safe space to release. We need to release. We need to be able to find our voice, and we need to start the healing journey. Whilst you're doing that, I would highly recommend looking after yourself as well. The process of healing can be such a long and daunting process. I think the best way to describe it is, one step forward and potentially 10 steps back. It can, some people, I know for me, definitely it got worse before it got better. I'm not even going to lie. At some point in the earlier part of my journey, it felt like my head was this massive war zone. And my one wish at the time was if I could cut off my head and replace it on somebody else. I wasn't trying to kill myself, at least not at that point, but I just wanted the war to be over. I just wanted peace and calm, and and it just felt like every day it was going to go on, and it was just never going to stop. So my point is, healing can be a long journey, and that's the earlier part of my healing journey. Of course, now I'm able to talk about these stuff without, feeling like something is sticking me in my heart, which is how it usually feel. I'm not freezing up. I'm not trying to run away. I'm not trying to fight. I'm literally just having a conversation. So it does get better, but throughout the process, take time to pamper yourself, to treat yourself, to feel good within yourself. Because unless you're feeling good within yourself, you're not gonna want to wake up tomorrow to continue the journey ahead. So I definitely recommend looking after yourself, loving yourself, being patient with yourself. If you wake up one day and you don't feel up for it, pat yourself on your shoulder for how far you've come. And yes, there's still a road ahead, but we don't have to climb the mountain in one day. We can take breaks and, have some water, put our feet up and just caring and looking after ourselves. And of course, I would suggest having a plan of action in terms of how what you'll be doing, or some of the things you want to be doing throughout the healing journey. So I meditate. I have a daily routine. First thing in the morning, I wake up, I do my meditation, I do my gratitude, I listen to some motivational videos on YouTube. I have my plan, my routine in the morning. I set my intentions for the day. So what do I want to achieve for the day, and how do I want to feel throughout the day? I set my intention, and I know by the end of the day what I hope to achieve. And more importantly, throughout the day, I also know that if things are a bit tough, then I will take a break and just love upon myself a little bit more. And I think one of the main important thing is having something to direct our focus on, because in the challenging times, we need something to give us a prompt to, to keep us pushing ahead. Right now, my son does it for me, but there are other times as well where my businesses does it for me. So I would definitely suggest having something for you. What makes you feel good? My businesses, I create them from scratch. I'm building them. I'm so excited about them. It's something that I want to leave for my son and future generation. My businesses are helping other people, so it gives me a massive sense of satisfaction, and they are mine. So yeah, I definitely suggest having something for you to be building, to be focusing on, to be molding, shaping. It's just so amazing. So yeah, although I didn't actually start out to give top tips, I don't know. I was just doing my blog. In case you're wondering, it's blogger.com/Lioness Tamar. I believe is the blog address. So I literally was just doing my blog. I'll show you even. See. I'm just writing my blog, answering a question from my last blog on child sexual abuse, and I just got prompted to just get up and say something. So there you go. I've shared a little bit about what I've been through, and I suppose my 3 top tips coming out of it is 3 top tips for healing is 1, finding a safe space to be able to release. 2, being good to yourself, being patient, love yourself, take care of yourself, treat yourself, pamper yourself, feel good within yourself. And 3, having a plan of action that enables you to create something for yourself that you can shape, mold, build, and be proud of it. Absolutely be proud of it. And no matter where you are in your journey, well done. Well done. I'm saying this from the absolute bottom of my heart. Well done, and keep pushing forward. Thank you.